So welcome everybody. I'm excited for this. Most of you already know me and my story, but I just want to give a quick background in case uh, somebody's new or doesn't quite know everything. So when I was 22, I was serving a mission for my church and I got really, really sick. Um, my memory started going. I had incredible back pain, and then oppressive fatigue hit me. And in the mid 90s, nobody really understood chronic illnesses the way they do now. So I went to several doctors and they were confused and they were diligent in taking all kinds of tests, but nothing showed up. and in fact, it was just here in Fort Worth. So it's not far away. Well, that began the journey of 3 chronic illnesses: fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and Epstein-Barr. And that lasted 18 years until 2014, when I went through a series of experiences where I learned, kind of pulled together everything that I had learned over that 18 years and distilled it into some interesting steps. And I feel like God just kind of led me to them and through them. And I was no longer sick. So I have been healthy since mid 2014 and desperately trying to share this work with people so that struggles that they're experiencing won't be so heavy. So what I want to do is just kind of have a casual support group here for a while where I teach you a little bit and help you work through some things a little bit, and you get to share some of the things that you're struggling with. So after I healed, it was 2 years later that I finally felt like I had enough information and the right instigation to write a book. So my first book was published in 2016 called Life Above the Line: Living the Life You're Meant to Live. And I'll be teaching you some of the techniques from that book. And I use them every single day for the last nearly 7 years of healing. These are the techniques I've been using. They've just become more refined and more expanded in that time period. And I've taught it 100 times, hundreds of times. And it's a beautiful work that has helped a lot of people so far. My new book coming out will help people walk through their challenges in life, help them make sense of some of their struggles and find more meaning. The title of that book is The Alchemy of Becoming: Muscle Testing for Self-Discovery. And it's kind of my memoir point 2 or 2.0, where I add in things that I've learned over the last 4 years since I wrote my last book, things that I've understood more deeply as well. So I've added those in. But this program is basically about helping you manage life's chaos a little bit better, with COVID going around and all the chaos that has contributed to, and the nation and the world and our communities are struggling to find peace. And I want to help you gain better peace and clarity about moving forward, and maybe even refresh your mind and your heart and your energy, and lift up yourself above that line of survival so that you can breathe a little bit better. I want you to find strength to move forward more confidently, whatever that means, whether it's going after goals or taking care of your little ones, but just having a level of strength and peace that you feel like you can do what you need to do each day. I want to help you build resilience to the chaos around you, because we don't have any power over our surroundings, our environment so much right now, and all the news and people struggling. And the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. So as we strengthen ourselves and build that resilience, we can handle everything that comes at us that much better. But I want you to have greater peace no matter your circumstances. And most of all, I want to help you with your biggest concerns. So I want you to feel free to type in the chat some of the specific concerns that you're dealing with, and I'll cover them each week, different topics, especially ones that end up being common between all of you. I want to be able to address those concerns specifically so that you feel like your specific needs are being met. So what I want to do first is teach one of the techniques in my book. And it's a super simple technique. And I hope that my sweet friends here that have already learned a lot from me will be able to glean from it and perceive from it pieces that you need. People in different contexts, right? Things can stand out to us in a different way. So what I want to do is share my screen so that you can see this image. It says choose an issue. So I'm going to teach you the vibrational release technique. And what this is it helps us manage emotional burdens, mental strain, bad memories, and even some physical pain, because that shows up as a result of some of these other burdens. Mental and emotional aspects of us can affect our physical well-being. So choose an issue. Choose something that you're experiencing right now. It doesn't work as well if it's something that you normally struggle with, but you can't feel right now. So just kind of go inside yourself a little bit and identify what your body is ready to feel some relief from. If it is a stiff neck or just general stress of things that are going on right now, or if you find yourself constantly with a negative internal dialogue, or if you've got some memories that are persistent and not letting you have peace, this is a good tool to help alleviate that as well. So if there's somebody that doesn't have that identified, let me know. So just speak up if there's something that you can't identify easily. You want it to be something that is strong enough that it's uncomfortable and it's demanding your attention a bit, but not so much that it's overwhelming and you can't follow along. Maybe when you watch this recording over again, you can delve into more painful issues. Now let's find one that's kind of moderate, that you can feel, but you'll also be able to feel the shift as it calms down, but it lets you still focus on what we're doing here. So once you have that issue, I want you to think the word release and take a deep breath. As you can see on this image, a simple thought can instruct ourselves to resolve discomfort. Our cells listen very carefully to each of our thoughts. And so as you can see, that could be good and bad. But right now we're talking about how you are empowered to make changes. So let's repeat that again. Think about your issue and how intense it is, and think release and breathe. If the word release doesn't mean much to you, whatever works. You can think about letting it go. You can think about calming it down. You can think about reassuring it, everything's okay. But I want you to set your intention on resolving that and breathing through it. One more time. Release and breathe. All right. So I want to help you work through this. So is there somebody that would like help making this work for you? Don't be shy. Okay, since you all are having success with it, somebody tell me about a good experience they had with it. All right, Gina. I know I can count on you.
I didn't want to be the one since but anyway, it's all good.
No, you're so experienced. I know you don't need really help, do you?
Oh, I don't know. I think we can always use help.
All right. Tell me
Something that
as much as you want. You don't have to tell anything that is uncomfortable at all. You don't have to divulge anything uncomfortable at all, but whatever you're comfortable with.
um, anytime that I work through things, I usually get emotional. I feel something emotional happening inside of me. That's a confirmation to me that even though I don't see it right this minute, it is it's still working and I have to continue. Sometimes I think I have to do it one time and it should just be better, but it just confirmed to me that that's not the case. And so I was working on an arthritic finger that has been bothering me,
Yeah.
and it's not as tight as it was. Is it still painful? Is it still swollen? Yes, but I can close my fist without it sticking way up. It's only a little up, and I don't know. I think I needed to be reconfirmed that it's just not a one stop deal. You have to continue. And yeah, you were supposed to pick me because sometimes I do get discouraged. The the gift is real. The blessings of it is real.
Yeah.
And don't get discouraged if you go, well, I worked on that and it's still there.
Yeah. So let me ask you, did you just use release or did you use the other techniques that I've taught you?
I just kept it simple. Kept it simple. When you told me that we could use a different word, I did.
Good. Really? What word did you use?
Well, I just, instead of, just release, I
Yeah.
used calm
Awesome.
and I used peace and heal, just what
Yeah.
came to my mind.
I love it. I love it. Because this isn't about a word, right? I teach words because they're easy to focus on, but the point is the meaning underneath them, the intention that we give them. So
Mhm.
that's perfect, Gina. Thank you. And it might be worth you exploring, Gina, now that you're in this space, because I'm not going to teach the other techniques today, right? But you could go through each one and see how loose you can get that finger, and see if you can get the pain less with some of the other techniques, right? Because it might not be a vibrational issue. Well, it's obviously not, right? The whole thing, it's
Yeah,
more than just a vibrational issue.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina. All right. Who else can I help? This is about you guys. This isn't about me showing off. This isn't about me uh, being on camera, the center of attention. I really do want to help you learn these skills and move forward and feel relief. Hey, Lisa. So you know a lot of this work too.
Yes.
And coming back to release is a baby step for you too, right? Yeah. Okay. So do you mind sharing what you're struggling with?
So mine at first, it was an emotional thing. I had noticed, so I'm 20 weeks pregnant, and with
Yay, congratulations.
thanks. So with this pregnancy, not normally.
Oh, we lost her. Oh, darn. Let's give her a minute. Come back on. All right. Hey, Sarah, why don't you jump on? We're waiting for Lisa.
Okay.
I know you're easy to interrupt.
Yeah. Yes. So I've been working on financial matters, and I've been working on this issue for quite a while now. As I sat here, and I actually went back to just release. Yeah. And I felt more peace as I sat, breathed, and thought release. So I like the fact that sometimes going back to the basics is very beneficial.
All right. Well, if Lisa can get back on, that's great. If not, we'll keep going here. So let's jump in and see if we can help Jordy until I can hear back from Lisa. So Jordy, you say you have old memories that are popping up, affecting your emotions. It's forgiveness. Is that what you're working on, Jordy? Okay, great. Were you able to get that calmed down a bit? I was eating. Probably emotional eating. Oh, all right. Tell me more. So are you feeling what the struggle to forgive? Okay. So I don't know if you're still typing or not. Did you feel any relief as you tried to work on that struggle to forgive? Just so that I'm catching up here quick, accurately. Okay. So it's been difficult. Is there something you need to learn from this first before it can be released? Okay. Do you want to think about that first, or do you want some help? I feel patience and understanding. It's more of being around older men, right? Because you've got some trauma, right? Okay. So as you think about how you can overcome that reaction, that difficulty in forgiving, is it the peace that just continues that makes it hard for you to be around older men? Is it that lingering discomfort? Discomfort and biting my tongue. Gotcha. Okay. So is it just forgiveness? Is it just the difficulty forgiving? It feels like there's a lot underneath that. A few things, yeah. Okay. So take a couple minutes, Jordy, and on a notepad, write down everything that comes to mind that is underneath that, not just the forgiveness, those several things. And ask which one you need to address first. Because it feels like the forgiveness can't really come until you can resolve some of these other pieces first. So why don't you work on that for a little bit, and I'll help somebody else for a little. Thanks, Jordy. All right. All right. Michelle, I haven't met you yet. Do you mind if I pick on you?
Hi.
Hi. Are you Gina's daughter?
I am.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's funny that you just picked on me because my mother sent me a text and said, let her help you.
Oh, it's easy to love Gina. It's easy to love your mom.
It is.
All right, Michelle, how can I help you?
So I have a little complicated history.
Okay.
I will try to tell it quickly, but 3 years ago, I hurt my back and I ended up becoming very physically limited, without a whole lot of answers from medical professionals to tell me why I was having the issues I was having. But over the last 3 years, I've made a ton of progress, going to chiropractors and physical therapy. And I felt like probably 6 months ago, I was getting my life back. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
Emotions that run in the family.
It's a beautiful thing.
And so I was in a car wreck in November.
Oh no.
And it really set me back. It brought up a lot of my old issues as well as some new things that I hadn't ever experienced before. And so I ended up having to start going back to physical therapy twice a week and back to chiropractors twice a week. And then I got COVID.
Oh no.
And all of my treatment was kind of halted. And I'm still having lingering COVID symptoms. And so just last week, I was able to start returning back to my therapy and back to my chiropractic appointments. And I think I'm just overwhelmed with the fact that I feel like I was so close to being normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's almost like starting over again.
Right.
And so I think I'm very frustrated right now. And I just, I don't know, I guess I just feel like, I don't want to feel like I'm going backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Yeah, it totally does. It totally makes sense.
So it's a big thing, but.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's perfect. So what was the struggle that you chose to work on with release?
So I was working on, I guess, the frustration of being back at all these appointments all the time, because I had just gotten home from an appointment.
Yeah.
And so I I'm just really frustrated that I'm still going 4 times a week to
Yeah.
to an appointment. And so that I was working on that frustration. And as I was doing that, I did feel peace and I felt impressed that everything's going to be okay.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
so
Good, good. Is the frustration still pretty strong?
it is probably not as intense as it was, but
Okay,
yeah.
that's great. So if you keep using release, has your mom taught you
Yes.
much? Okay. So if release isn't going to take care of all of it, because there might be some other things that are contributing that are maybe more inherited or imprinted that might be fighting against you feeling relief from the frustration, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It might not just be an emotion. We know that there's a lot going on usually, especially in situations like this where there's trauma involved. It starts getting onto a lot of different levels. So if release doesn't get the frustration all the way down, then start working on some of the other techniques. And then look for the spot where God kind of tells you it's going to be frustrating, but you can handle this level of frustration. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Where it's not
Too much to tolerate.
yeah, it's not a burden. It's just,
Mhm.
well, it's frustrating, you know. But if you can get that burden down to where it's not oppressive, then you can start working on the next thing. Because right now the frustration is so loud, you can't start working on, okay, what does my body need in order to fall into line with the treatments I'm receiving and be able to recover more quickly? Right? That's where you want to get to next, because your
Okay.
body needs some support so that these great people can help your body recover. And if you've got the frustration going on, then that's going to resist it. And then if you've got something underneath the frustration that is affecting things, you want to get to that as soon as possible so that your body feels like, okay, she's got the message. She's resolving the other concerns, all these related little things, and I can let go and not fight against the treatments. Because I mean, that's how some of this work developed in other modalities. It's a chiropractor that is trying to help his clients, and they keep coming back for the same things. And there's this weird lingering piece that keeps the muscles pulling the body out of alignment. Well,
Mhm.
those are emotions, those are programs, those are these other things contributing. And you resolve those things, and your muscles just think, oh, okay, that's right, I can relax and just have everything in alignment and I'm good. Then the adjustments will hold better. Then the physical therapy will be able to work with your muscles better. They won't be resisting. Okay.
Okay.
You're awesome. You can do this. All right. Well, let me know if you need any more help, but why don't you work
Okay.
on the other techniques and see if you can get the rest of the frustration calmed down, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Is Lisa back on? Haven't seen anything from her. Maybe she lost internet. All right. All right, so we've got just a few more minutes. Let's see. Looks like we had somebody join. Another Sarah. Welcome. I won't pick on you right now, but it looks like we lost Alyssa. So Leslie, if there's something that you would like help with, then unmute yourself. If not, then we can move forward and finish up for today. But I'm happy to help you if there's something I can do.
Well, I probably need help somewhere.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what I was focusing on for release, and I'm just not feeling it. So I see what you mean about choosing something that is a current
Yeah.
issue or bother. And one thing I don't even know. One thing I'm thinking of is it's so I have one daughter, and people always say girls are hard to raise, and I'm finding that out more and more all the time. She's 14, and I think she has some issues of her own. In fact, I need to talk to you about setting her up visits with you. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to communicate, I think, because there's a lot of attitude and a lot of entitlement that we deal with. And for me, it's just easy to say, okay, we'll just go away. If I don't see you and I don't have to deal with you, then it's gone. And that's obviously not the right way to handle things.
Right.
And so I don't want to sweep it under the rug and have it be a problem forever, because whatever's bothering her is probably more of a problem than how I'm handling communicating with her.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make it worse for her.
Right.
And so I'm not sure the best way to do things. I'm still
Yeah, I know. I totally get that. So I think your impression that it's important to approach her in the right way is right. And I would ask, if I were you, I would ask myself, what is the right way to approach her regarding this in a way that is supportive, that doesn't trigger walls to come up, right? And sit and listen for a minute and see if you can get an impression. You have stewardship over that sweet girl, and you can get answers that way. And as you feel things come up, you may be able to feel some kind of frustration or worry or stress or something like that, that makes it hard for you to either hear the impression or hard for you to act on it. So that's something that you can use release on. So if you feel an anxiety about approaching her, but you feel like you want to and need to, work on that piece first. Focus on that anxiety and calm that down. And then you're going to be more susceptible to hearing those whisperings that can guide you in that process.
Okay.
But I'd love to help her. I'd love to work with her. And does that feel right? Does that feel like the right direction to go?
I think so.
Okay.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, we can talk more too.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for sharing, Leslie. Okay.
Hey, Tiffany, sorry, I thought it was at 1:00 Mountain Time, and I'm like,
It's all good, Christy. I'm glad you got on. We recorded it. It was quite adventurous. So had some technical difficulties and fun stuff, but it'll be posted, and I'll share the link around so that you can watch it and see what happens so that you don't miss anything. And then we'll just jump on again next week and keep going.
Okay.
But I'm glad you're here.
yeah, I was like, no, because I had it all in my calendar and everything, but I didn't look at that it said Central Time.
Yeah, I know. I had to move. Sorry. Oh, welcome. All right. Let's see. Well, Lisa, let's finish up with you. I'm sorry. Technical issues happened. Can you come back on now?
Yes.
There you are. Great.
So you might notice a pattern in this speech. What I was saying was that with this pregnancy, I've been holding on to a lot of things. And so like some of the things I was noticing and what I was about to say was like, so like my husband doesn't have a job right now. And so he's kind of looking for one, like it's in that process of like hard to be like home, like be productive, all those things. And then as I was I turned off my video to go take care of some other things. So like the laundry, how the washer hadn't spun. So that wasn't working either. And then the dryer didn't go because it had too much in it. So I had to take half of it off. So that wasn't working. And then my phone completely lost battery. That wasn't working. So I'm like, I'll just like wash the dishes with this other child while it's plugged in. Like it's a fast, like high-speed charger. My phone's still not charged. So I'm on the laptop. So the cord isn't working either.
Oh my goodness.
You noticing a pattern in my life?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So what does that pattern mean to you, Lisa?
That what I have and what I'm used to using isn't working anymore. And so it's time to up level. And I don't remember who was just speaking. That was us when we were talking about how do you approach the situation, because I have just sweeped it under the rug. Like this is a continual pattern with like him not having work. And
oh, gotcha.
And so then having, but yeah, like how do, like what is my part in that? Like the first time I was like, I've been in very different places every time. And now I feel like I'm in a really good place, but I want for us to move on together. But I'm still holding on to some things that are not helping.
Yeah.
And when I was quiet to ask like, how can I approach him? I feel like there's more than just in my approach, like that there's something else I need to understand first and to let him receive, because that's a growth for him and it's a growth for us together. Yeah. And I'm not sure what sequence that would be in.
Okay. Well, I think you're definitely coming at it the right way. You're seeking those impressions and that guidance. And I think as you do, you can have that conversation with him about working together and finding a solution, asking him how you can support him. What kinds of things can you do to support him in his efforts? What are his goals? Where does he want to go? Where is he? What are things that he's working on? Is he struggling working on them? Right. So get a baseline for where he is, where he wants to go, what he's struggling with. And I think you'll be able to discern more clearly at that point what you can actively do to help him. What are you feeling when you think about talking to him?
Well, one judgment that comes up is like, well, I've done this before and it hasn't been great, like ever. And so I don't want to.
Yeah, that could be kind of a block. Yeah. So where's your belief? Where's your level of belief?
Oh yeah, Steve just did the time zone. I'm like, you're not the only one, Steve.
Yeah. That's okay, Steve. It's recorded. You'll be able to review our call today and
noon next week.
we'll jump on in next week. Sorry, I moved. I know Texas is now a different time zone. It's messing people up.
Yeah.
My fault.
And we don't know where we're going to move to or if we're going to move, like all sorts of things.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so we're just renting. And so like depending on where his job is, like we would go there, or maybe depending on something else. I don't know. Like it's a very, like things are opened up. So it's like time to be very intentional. And then there's a little hesitation of like, I can really have what I want. And how do I include someone else and all of their stuff in what I want to create?
Yeah.
That's where my belief is.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things going on here. You're looking for your own path as well as how to help your sweetheart with his path. That's two big things, right? So you want to separate them, okay? Because it's hard to go in and help somebody else when you're thinking about, well, I've got all these things that I need to do too, and then to figure out and that are meaningful to me and redefine my path. And then you've got the space where you want to help your sweetheart figure out what he needs to do next. And so you want to first separate those because they do connect, and the emotions from one will spill over into the other if you can't create that line to separate them. So when you're working on your things, again, I mean, I know that you're a prayerful person. And so that is going to be one of your key pieces in this, in praying and identifying the things that are those whisperings for you. What do you need to learn from this experience? What gifts and talents are you supposed to identify and develop right now? And how are you supposed to support your family and these huge decisions that you need to make about your new income, about moving? I mean, that's a lot going on. So you want to compartmentalize as much as possible. And I'm going to teach a little strategy. I don't know how soon. It might need to be sooner than later. It's a crazy zone, like a target. So you got your comfort zone in the middle, your growth zone, and then your crazy zone, right? You've seen that image before, but I've got a great way to utilize it to help you kind of figure out how to prioritize and how to resolve the most intense things first. That may be next week, that may be in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, start separating things. Start being prayerful about your path and about his path. They're very interconnected, but as you put your emotions and your thoughts and your intentions into your space, totally forget about his stuff, right? And then as you go to work with him, after you heal a couple of things that make you feel like it's not a safe place to be, right? Then you can put your things aside, knowing that you'll come back to them and they're safe where they are. And you can focus specifically on him and tune in to the struggles that he's feeling, because he probably has some things under there that need to heal so that he can think more clearly, know where he wants to go, know where he needs to go in order to support the family and the actions that he needs to take. So it feels like he's got some resistance that he's fighting against and trying to getting clear on.
Yeah.
So is that a good next step?
So to keep praying and to do it in a very ask and receive way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good, because you know this work, you know where it can fit in and help move past resistance and move past blocks. And especially when it comes to that subconscious area and the phrenic side of things, you know how to pull that out, right? And start rooting up some of these beliefs and paradigms that are not productive and not helpful, and start shifting them around so that you can be more empowered and strong and clear as you work on your things and work on helping your sweetheart. All right.
Yeah.
Are you good to go?
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah. It's a journey. It's a journey, right? No magical solutions today, but definitely encouragement because you're on the right track and being able to
Thanks.
think. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. You're awesome.
I'm glad you're doing this.
Thanks. All right. So because we had some people jump on late because of the time confusion, normally I'll keep this to an hour because I want you guys to be able to know that it's an hour and you're not going to miss anything important if you need to get off after that hour. And but I have some time, I have some flexibility here, so I'm happy to stay on and keep working for a bit. If you have to go, that's fine. But I'm going to go for another 15, 20 minutes or something like that at least. So let's see who we've got on here. Let's see. All right, Sarah Jensen, are you still available? Okay, so it feels like there's something that that you learned from
Yes.
everybody on the call
Yes.
you need to share?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so my gosh, this is Michelle, I'm right there with you on being emotional here. I've been working on financial stuff, and I've been working on this for a really long time. And I've had severe neck issues for a long time. And this is the first time I've actually had a better understanding of the connection for it. And it was actually with Michelle and Lisa talking about and it's not necessarily what they said, but just the emotions that were conveyed of frustration and not and overwhelmed with it. And the thought came to me that I have been, as Lisa said, kind of sweeping things under the rug. And I've gotten really good at that. It's inherited. My parents used to get the mail and stick it in a brown paper sack and put it in a closet without ever opening it. And when I got home from my mission, I actually found a handful of letters that I had written them that had gone in that stack because they just thought it was bills. And we also found a few cards with each of them having over $100 in them. So Mom's like, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
Oh,
And
bless her heart.
but I don't stick it in bags anymore. I did that for a long time, but since working with you, Tiffany, I quit doing that.
Good.
In the past few weeks, I've gotten to where I just open the mail now. And I got to where I was just sitting it on the bedside table so I could see it. I wasn't hiding it, but I also wasn't opening it. So now I'm opening it. But while they were talking, the correlation to so much of the trauma in my neck started showing forth. And that I've been holding this fear of the unknown with finances in my neck for a very, very, very long time. I also had the thought with the sweet sister that was talking about her daughter. There are so many issues that go on in our families that can become so complicated so quickly. When we take a step back, try to look at them sometimes as a stranger instead of, or as someone we know but not really, someone that we want to give the benefit of the doubt to, instead of just jumping to, in my way of handling things, often accusations and pulling up the remembered words, remembered something of the past, and saying, well, this must be how they feel right now, and so forth. And the thought came to me that I need to start taking a step back and looking at them the way I would someone that I don't live with. Yeah. Someone that I'm more apt to just say, well, I mean, we don't know what's going on in their head, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt here.
I love it.
And it's a lot harder to do that with the people that I live with.
Yeah, because you know the baggage.
Yeah.
And you have baggage with them.
Yeah, and we have baggage with them.
Yeah.
So was her name, is it Leslie?
Yeah.
So Leslie, I think a lot of us are there with you, and I just want you all to know that you are not alone at all. I mean, every one of you have said something that I thought, yes, right there with you. Different person in the family, different pain, whatever, but right there with you. So I just hope you all realize that you are not alone.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
All right. Is there somebody else that has something I can help them with? Christy, have you got anything you're working on you'd like a little bit of help with?
Yeah, I mean, lately I feel kind of a heaviness of we've lost a lot of close loved ones, friends to death this year.
Oh no.
And I think that I'm like scared of the unknown of losing someone, or,
Yeah.
you know, because I've already lost several people that I know, and it just seems to be one person after another, you know, just that we know that really closely, and just feels like I guess that I'm scared of the unknown of that, I guess, or scared of losing someone even closer to me, or um, I don't know how to put it into words. Just
Yeah.
when Sarah was talking about her neck, my neck is killing me, and
Mm,
and the thought came to me that it's because I'm holding on to this fear of, you know, of death or of losing a loved one, or I'm not quite sure how to pinpoint it, you know, or is it the fear of not being healthy and then of death? Like, I don't know. It's kind of swirling
yeah,
in my
yeah. No,
head
it's
right
perfect.
now.
Ask if your fear is tied to your neck pain.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else contributing to your neck pain?
Yes.
Okay. What else is it? Can you identify the other things?
um, well, two things that come to mind are the stress of building our house. That's a big stress.
Yeah.
And um and then also I've also felt like a lot of people who are really close to me, especially family members, have been struggling with severe anxiety, and it's just really hard to know how to help them, or um, to see them struggling that much, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Christy. It's so real. It's so real. It really is our opportunity to become stronger so that we can know how to help others, right? I mean, you've done so much work. I mean, you know this work so well, but it still is hard, right? It's still hard to know when people's fears and anxieties in their hearts are involved. It really can be difficult to know how to approach it. But the first thing you can do is to help yourself feel the way you want them to feel. So identifying your fear first is important, and being able to work through that fear. And again, I know you're a spiritual person, so your prayers are going to be key in helping you identify those other insights and impressions that you need in order to feel more peaceful. Because we've heard fear and faith can't occupy the same space. I think that was a man that said that, because that's a very cow path. No offense, Steve. That's a very one TV screen way to look at things, right? And so fear and faith can exist in the same place, because as women, we look at a lot of different TV screens. We have a lot of different things, a lot of things going on that we have to manage in a lot of places and a lot of different things. And so as we scan all of the different things that we're in charge of and have stewardship over, there can be a strong faith in one space and fear in another one, and faith in another one, fear. And so we feel it all at the same time. We can feel fear and faith at the same time. So I think, kind of like we were talking with Lisa about separating things and being able to focus in on one thing at a time can help us create more of a dynamic where it's just faith over fear. We can work on that one space that has some fear in it and build up our faith and ease down that fear. But it has to be targeted. It can't just be, looking at everything and because that's overwhelming. So as you look at this one piece that you started with, this fear about losing someone, and it's not an irrational fear because you've had recent evidence of it. So what are you going to choose to feel? What do you want to feel when you think about the possibility of someone passing?
I guess just peace and understanding that everything will be okay,
Okay.
I
So
guess.
yeah, that's great. That's great. So what will it take for you to be able to shift more of your weight that direction, to squeeze out the fear a bit and move more into the peace and trusting?
Gotta heal some stuff.
Okay. All right. So that's your first step, to heal the things that are making it difficult for you to feel more faith than fear. Okay. And then once you feel stronger there, then start thinking about those around you. Then you'll be able to discern a little bit more easily how to talk to them to help them know what to do about their anxiety. Because as you're thinking about each of the different people, they probably need a different approach for each of them, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you're feeling afraid and weighed down, how easy is it to help them?
It's not.
It's not. So focus on you, feel that peace, let that become stronger. Let that faith build up so that you can trust and be okay and know that everything will be okay. It will be okay. We know that. Even if it's difficult along the way, which we know it will be. All right. Does that feel like a good step for you?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on, Christy. All
Glad
right.
I got on last second.
Yes, me too. Me too. All right. Let's see. Does somebody else need some help or want some insights? Okay, feel free to interrupt me. I'm going to start wrapping up. I'm so grateful that you all have been on and shared the things that you have. And I want you to know that I'm going to be here every week and until something changes that makes it not right anymore. But for now it is. And I'll teach you a little bit each week. We'll work through things each week. And hopefully you'll walk away feeling a little more peaceful, a little more hopeful, and feeling like you have more in your toolbox to face the chaos and the stress that's going on. If you have any feedback about how things went for you, if you'd like to talk about certain other things, I know that things were kind of busy, so it was probably hard to think about something else for the chats, but feel free to email me and let me know if there's certain topics that you do want to focus on more generally, have a bigger conversation about. If there's somebody that has come to mind during this call, please reach out and invite them to participate. I will put the recording for this call on YouTube and send you the link so that you can share it with somebody and say, this is what it's like. Feel free to do that. I don't have any perceived limits about how many people I want on the call yet. I trust that it'll grow as it's supposed to. that you are welcome to share it. You are welcome to invite people to participate. And I think it'll just grow organically that way. And the people that will be benefited the most will be able to come on. Do you have any questions before we wrap up? No? Great. Well, thank you again for being on. And we will chat more next week. And feel free to take notes during this week. I mean, pull a journal, grab a notebook or something and write down your experience from today. Write down the things that we talked about. And you can watch the recording again and write down any notes that you want to capture that you didn't get to write down. And keep track of this journey, because I think you'll find that you will have insights if you write things down. As you record things that are meaningful to you, there will be more space made for more learning and more insights and more growth to come. So I invite you to do that. Get a notebook or a journal and write down your experiences, write down your thoughts and your impressions, and keep track during the week so that next week when we talk again, you have something to say about, I had this triumph, because I'd love to hear them, or I had this difficulty, can you help me? I'm here to help. But whatever it is, keep track, and I think it'll be a gift to you as you recognize your progress and you keep track of the beautiful insights you receive and the things that you learn. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tiffany.